Good morning. Welcome to the garden from a different angle than usual. We are in the back of the garden and I'm here so that I can film that way and not trip. Also, it's 7 a.m. I want to say, and the sun would be in my eyes if we were going the other direction. A lot has changed, even though sometimes it feels like nothing has changed since last time we've been here. I think last time we were in the garden was May the 19th. Today is June the 15th. So let me take you through things. Let's start over here. Now, I haven't shown you this corner in a while. And the first thing up is the tomatillo plants. They were tiny last time we were here, if I remember correctly. Now they are growing beautifully, actually. I'm quite excited to have some tomatillos this year. I did have some last year and they make for fantastic salsa verde. It's pretty much the only thing I make with them and I love it. Then we have the dead lemon tree, which is now working as a trellis for my morning glory plant, which I think is hopefully going to bloom soon. And then next to it, the fig is doing alright, probably needs a bit more water, and the fig actual fruit has grown quite a bit as well. Now we've been doing some more excavation work in here, so we wanted to take most of this path out anyway, if not all of it at some point. And yeah, so watch your step. Then on this side we have a whole collection of blueberry plants, which you might have seen before. And blueberries don't love the sun, but they will tolerate sun just fine. Now you'll see that one of them is really unhappy, while the remainder of them are doing so. This one, which was also really quite unhappy, and you can see has lots of sunburn because it's been so sunny over the last few weeks, is starting to come together. On this side, my pink lemonade blueberry is hating life, absolutely hating it. I think it might be dying. I have another one in the post, which is cool, but it's just not very happy. Nor is my patriot, but that's been an ongoing problem since last year. My other Spartan is, on the other hand, starting to put out some fruits, and those weeds just will not stop growing. Let me tell you, it is miserable. And I'm still pregnant, 9 months at this point, so I can't really be pulling them out easily. Let me turn you this way. The plum tree is growing nicely. It's starting to bush out a bit more than it has over last year, which is nice. It came as a really small potted tree in a 5-liter pot, so it's doing okay. And then over here, the courgettes and summer squash are really popping up. So I only have 4 of the plants in the garden. 3 of them are courgettes, 1 of them is patio, and the rest are at the allotment. We'll see how they do at the allotment. And then on this side, the foxtails are doing amazingly. I'm really happy with them. So are the lupins. And then if you look very carefully, poking just there, that's a rose. Lupins have been blooming consistently for over a month now, which is very nice. Then if we look down here, you might be wondering what on earth happened. The short of it is I dug out the garlic. We have nice garlic harvest and I'll show it to you shortly. But since that, I planted a whole load of beans and some of them are finally starting to come up. Now, I always have this problem where the germination on beans for me in this particular garden is really poor, but hopefully we'll have something. Then if we go over here, my generous gardener has finished its first flourish and it's really starting on the second one already, which is quite nice. We did have some pest issues, unfortunately, as I do every year, but it's looking okay. And then if we turn over here, I'll show you my very miserable looking cucumbers because they're not actually doing anything. They've been about the same size since I planted them and I'm very sad about it. But on the positive, we have some blackcurrants. So, you know, you win some, you lose some. Let's spin back around this way to this edible bed. The determinate tomatoes, even though they're quite short and they will continue to grow, they have progressed a good amount since last time you saw them. I did plant them out really early, which would have caused them to stand a fair amount, and that's exactly what happened to them and the peppers. So I'm not expecting that they'll pick up much more very quickly. but they are blooming, they are shooting out, and I think we'll have some fruit in the next month and a half. Obviously not ripe fruit, but some actual fruit on the plants. Additionally, some of the spring onions are doing really good. The red kale is doing all right. As you can see, the green kale is blooming beautifully, and that's absolutely fine. And we have some first beans, which also is quite exciting. You can see little pods just happening casually. That one's actually quite big already, which is nice. I'm not going to make a lunch with one pot though. And then my last radish is still holding up strong. As I said, the peppers are super unhappy here. Interestingly, at the allotment, they're doing so much better. Anyway, some more onions, which is exciting. Love me some spring onions. Then if we look over here, you'll notice that I've completely pulled out celtis. I'm about to make kimchi with it. I'm pretty excited for that. And then we have some aubergines that are starting to pick up. Again, aubergines and peppers did go out very early this year, despite the bad weather, or despite the strange weather. So they're all stunted. There's a ton of seeds that have gone in here as well, mostly for salads and rockets and such. So this bed is going to get more interesting. Also, my Swiss chard is blooming. Let's turn over here, and I have to apologize for losing my breath a little bit, but yeah, I have no space in my chest. What else can I say? We've got some lovely calendula over here. It is about to bloom, which I'm very excited for. We have the only marigold that I've managed to grow from my own seeds. That, hey, it's a success. There's marigold, and then some cosmos, as well as some little foliage flowers. I don't typically show you this side, but you know, my bottle brush is also blooming randomly. Usually it doesn't bloom in the summer, but it's kind of cool. And then moving over here in my herb bed, I've harvested the celery recently. Some of it has now gone to seed, which is absolutely fine. You can still eat it. It doesn't change much. And then in terms of herbs, everything is looking quite nice. Some things have been harvested and some new ones have been planted, which is quite exciting. I'll show you that lupin again because it's looking absolutely stunning. And then if we go this way, my Dame to the Dench rose from David Austin has been continuously blooming. I have been diligent about deadheading it and feeding it and watering it constantly. So as you can see, the blooms are stunning, and I wish you had a smell-o-vision for that because it is a beautiful smell. And then if we look over here, this bed is a funny one. It mostly has nothing in it, so to say, other than flowers and ornamentals, and that's kind of how it's probably going to stay for the foreseeable, just because we might turn it into a patio step. But I have a couple of snapdragons in between all those weeds, as well as another calendula and some nasturtiums. As you can see, nasturtium has been doing its job as a crop trap. You can probably see the ants moving below it. This is the problem. If you have ants, you will have aphids. And then, as promised, I was going to show you my garlic harvest. It's drying over here on the second shelf in a little bit of a shade. And it's, you know, for the first year of garlic, it's a good harvest. I plan on doing mostly confit garlic and then frozen garlic cubes. So we'll see how that goes. And then if we move over here, the patio from this way looks all right, a bit messy, but all right. So let's start in here. We've got some asparagus and then different flowers. There are snapdragons, some echinacea, that kind of a thing over here, and then maybe a few other things that are mostly perennial. And I've started recently from seed. And then on this side, the bay tree has been repotted. I think you might have seen it repotted last time. It's doing great. Some of my spring onions that have overwintered will get eaten. Then the fuchsias are carrying on, but still no blooms. I've moved the, what is it called? I'm losing my mind, guys. It's called lilac, white lilac, into a nicer pot. My apple scented geranium plugs are growing, which is good. My lettuces, as well as a red geranium that overwintered outside and somehow survived, is also growing. And then some more determinate tomatoes, these are the Muscotka variety, are here. Now a new addition is this Eureka lemon tree, which is a replacement of the one you've seen dead at the start of the video. I have reached out to the company that sold me the previous one, and they very kindly sent me a new one. And that one also has some fruits, as you can see, some fruits on it, which is very, very nice, more than the original one had. And then if we look over here, the kale is doing all right. I need to be planted out soon, but I'm hoping that the temperature will drop just a little bit so it doesn't just shoot out into flower. And then my heathers, these are mostly winter heathers, looking miserable obviously, but they're fine. My Japanese acer is now starting to turn green, which is normal. It changes color through the season, and it's it's time for it to turn green for the summer. And then Jasmine is blooming, not the most amazingly, because as I said last time, I haven't really trimmed it, but it's doing okay. Again, smell-o-vision would be nice. It does smell absolutely delicious. And then I have a couple of other things over here. One of them is some dahlias. I've never grown dahlias before. These I've picked up at B&Q actually. It was £10 for 3, and they're stunning. So we've got an orange one, a pink one, as well as white one, alongside some marigolds. These are the strawberry pink marigolds, so bottom line. And that's it. That is the garden as it is now. As always, a little bit messy, but at the same time full of life and quite charming. And by the way, that thing I'm going to cut down next weekend. Stay tuned if you want to see that in the next garden tour.